The member for O'Connor has the call.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I rise today to speak about what is probably the most important yet contentious issue affecting West Australia, and that is the GST distribution. And while the broader perception is that this is simply a West Australian issue, the reality is that the current system embeds inefficiency and contains some perverse incentives that in some instances actually penalise states for maximising revenue. Having said that, it is a significant disadvantage for a state that contributes 16% of Australia's gross domestic product and 49% of the nation's mercantile exports. The GST distribution is of great importance to me, and I spoke about it in my maiden speech, have continued to discuss it with my WA Liberal colleagues and have openly spoken about it in the media. This week, West Australian Treasurer Dr Mike Nahan visited Canberra to meet with his federal counterparts and discuss how we can address this issue. But first, a bit of background on how the GST is distributed. GST revenues are distributed amongst the states according to recommendations from the Commonwealth Grants Commission using the principle of horizontal fiscal equalisation. The aim of the HFE is to enable each state to provide the same standard of services, providing it makes the same efforts to raise revenues from its own sources. The HFE takes into account the different costs faced by state governments in providing services and states' differing capacities to raise their own revenue. The Grants Commission updates its calculation of state grant shares annually using the latest available data. In addition to annual updates, the Commission undertakes a major review of the methodology used to implement fiscal equalisation every 5 or 6 years. This year, WA will receive just 37 cents for every dollar of GST revenue raised in the state, and the State Treasury has previously warned its share could drop to as little as 11 cents. With iron ore prices sliding to around $80 US per tonne, Western Australia will receive around $1.7 billion less in royalties than was forecast just 4 months ago. This decline is compounded by the Grants Commission using a 3-year rolling average to calculate revenue, meaning that it will take 3 years for the current revenue collapse to wash through the system. Last night, at a specially organised briefing, the WA Treasurer addressed 26 members and senators, including members from the Liberal Party, the Palmer United Party, Liberal Democrats and Family First, representing every state except the Tasmanians, who had a long-held prior commitment. While supporting the concept of horizontal fiscal equalisation, Dr Nahan stressed that the current distribution level received by WA is unprecedented, that the measures by the state government to raise additional revenue could see us lose over 100% of that additional revenue, and that there will be major economic benefits for the nation from the reform of the current distribution formula. As announced previously, the WA Liberal members and senators will form a bloc to advocate for reform. We will be outspoken in our support for a greater GST share for WA, and we will go about it through the proper channels. We will put together a joint submission to the upcoming White Paper on Reform of the Federation and the White Paper on Reform of Australia's taxation system, due in 2015. As I told the Kalgoorlie Miner on the 4th of September, after my colleague Christian Porter outlined our plan to make a joint submission in the party room, we are going to stick this course, and we're going to make sure the whole world knows the situation is and how badly WA is being affected by the diminishing returns from the GST. Now, I'm fully aware that without the support of the Prime Minister, the Treasurer and the majority of coalition members across all states, our proposals, no matter how good they are, will go no further. But we are determined to resolve this issue for the benefit of WA. Don't get me wrong, I know that each state's members and senators are equally parochial for their states, as the WA members are. But we don't need to have a divisive debate. We want to try and educate others that the current system is penalising WA in an unprecedented way. It's hampering national economic development by providing distorted incentives to the other states. I'd like to thank Dr Nahan for travelling to Canberra to provide the West Australian perspective to our eastern states counterparts, and hopefully for the people of WA, this will be an important step forward on the long road to GST reform. Thank you.